Hello, myself Sunil Ramakrishnan. Basically, today we are going to talk about the Formula Award. Basically, that is 104th number till 103. Basically, we have discussed lots of things about the Formula Award, formula attributes, formula balance, attributes balance sheet, and currently we have discussed lots of things about sales, education, lots of things. Currently, we are discussing about the Bollywood industry. What Bollywood industry is, up to what level Hollywood groups are connected with the Bollywood, with the software industry. So we will take few examples. Basically. Uh, for example, there is one uh, city ongoing city creation happening. So it assume that around 10 kilometers areas, uh, it's a entire empty land, and government told that this area 10 kilometers is going to convert into city basically. And here basically we assume that this is going to be used in the text box creation. So this is basically the scenario. So basically how the things are going to start basically. So basically the first basically the what the cities is going to create, that would be the main thing basically. Reason on the base of that only the entire creation is going to happen. And nowadays basically each and every creation basically are getting processed into the human needs basically by default basically it has happened like that. So everywhere it's a business world basically. So whatever you invest you want the output also. The world has become like that basically. So the city creation also has become like that only. You can say the city creation has connected to this world basically. That is basically business world, business to business world. And business world means basically whatever you invest, you need the amount, you need the profit, you need the each and everything basically. So if it's a business, then business and profit and loss is also there basically, you can say. So like this basically you can say profit and loss industry is ongoing, and profit and loss industry means business world basically, you can say. So city creation nowadays has become as a business world, profit and loss industry basically. So here basically the investor basically are the of the software industry basically. Because this city is going to convert into text box creation. So in text box creation, whatever the thousand cities are created, that addition is ongoing basically. Addition means basically you can say I will take one example. Uh, in Oracle database, whenever the data table space gets over, or the data file and table gets over, and the uh, says that the space does not exist, then basically you have to add the data files basically. Data files. If you add the data files basically, then basically the data files is getting added, and then basically the table data is going to be added into that data file basically. So the whenever the data space comes, space issue comes, then basically you have to add the data file basically. This is basically normal Oracle concept basically, you can say. Same way basically the people basically who are into Oracle, they basically can understand basically how the data space get data file gets added if the space issue comes into the picture basically. And if the performance issues also there, then basically table space, buffer locks. There are lots of parameters which basically connects into picture. But basically, good database DBA basically never they are up. They prepare the database up to that level that basically never ever basically the database gets changed. Basically, never ever anybody will tell that we want to add this data file. We want to add few more data files basically, because they says that we are up too perfect that this many data is only going to enter in from this project basically. So no other extra data is going to be entered. So that is basically called the DBA group, who basically says that we are up to the perfect level basically, that no other data files, data table space, buffer of whatever parameters we are going to change, that will never come into effect. That is basically Oracle database side. So here the topic is the new city gets creates. New city gets create. That means the tables, the text box equal to 1,000 cities, which is getting processed. There basically few more process gets it's going to happen basically. It can be anything basically. It can be the some other process basically. In text box basically, which type of data are getting entered, that depends upon the that's new city creation. So which basically data is which data processing getting problem, due to that basically this new city got created. Or you want to improve in the performance problem of the text box equal to 1,000 city creation process. So what actually the exact requirement is basically of the why that city is getting creates. So that all basically things gets into picture, and then basically the creation of the city happens. So basically before basically any creation happens, then basically the city is going to create. So basically the user stories are always there, because on the base of user stories only the uh, on the base of user stories. So basically why I'm telling that Bollywood and Hollywood and this group have created the software industry. So user stories are there. So user story says that you are going to design one software, and in this software basically you have created a set of faces, set of sprint, and set of sprint are divided into set of user stories. And user stories basically are going to convert to the set of tasks basically, and that task is going to allocate to certain groups basically. That is basically resources basically you have allocated to. So just see the mapping of the software industry and the Hollywood industry and Bollywood industry, who says that we have created the entire software industry. So like this, basically, city has created, cities is getting created. Each and every areas are getting created according to the user stories. Basically, the cities are getting created, because without plan, basically, you can't jump into the city creation. That also, when the text box equal to 1,000 cities has already created, up to this level, the creation is already happened. it, in this moment basically you can't do any stuff basically without planning. Basically you have to think 100 times, you have to do 1,000 plans, you have to do the each and every creation, whatever creation is getting happening, that you have to do the integration basically. Then only basically you can do the plan, like same as Bollywood groups have done this. Before movie creation basically they are basically creating the serials, and the serials are basically getting converted into serials. Each and every stories are getting converted into movies basically. So before the basically big budget movies gets creates, they basically mostly prefer to create the serials basically. Most of basically 98 percentage movies before gets creates, the serial gets creates basically. So the here the main point is basically the energy which is going to create basically, that is not supposed to be get into the problem basically. That's why basically the nowadays the serial gets creates, and according to the serial the basically the movies gets creates basically. So each and every things are basically has to be planned. According to the plan only the entire creation happens. So city creation is also one of the user story, you can say. For example, 100 area is going to create in the city basically. 100 area means 100 pin code basically, you can say. In basically nowadays basically the areas are divided into pin code basically. So the groups who created the pin code basically, they might understand, they have created the pin code basically so that the area uh, can be identified basically. If we tell that in Vadodara basically this is the pin number, so basically easily it's to and easily you can understand, yeah, this is basically that area, it's situated in this side basically. So basically nowadays each and every things are areas are divided into certain user stories, and user stories are given few names, and the areas are given names, and the areas are given name. Then basically each and every cities basically are connected with the set of user sorry set are created connected with the set of human needs basically creation, because nowadays the city creation has converted into business world basically. So basically business group says that whatever things we are investing basically, we are investing, we want the return also basically, because without return basically how basically we can invest basically, because we are also doing the hard work for the money. So it's like that basically. So nowadays basically this question nobody is supposed to ask for that. few people, few country basically says that we created the businessman, and formula of businessman has converted like this: government employee equal to businessman basically. So that is basically different thing basically. So here basically we are discussing about the businessman basically, who will be asking the question basically. The city we are creating, so we are investing the money, so basically we want the return also basically, whatever things you are investing basically, you can say. So basically, whatever money we are investing, for example, we have to create one city. Basically, we have invested 5 lakh crore rupees. So in 5 lakh crore rupees, set of user stories are divided, right? So according to the user stories, basically the set of areas are created. According to the set of areas, basically the set of tasks are defined, that this area is going to create going to create this area is going to create that. So like this basically each and every stuffs are allocated to the certain groups basically, you can say. Then basically they create, they know basically, few people basically, the creator basically who are into the developer side, development side, they don't know basically that this city is going to is connected with the text box equal to 1,000 cities. In the 1,000 cities basically one more cities is going to add, that very less people know basically, because it's connected with the directly with the government and the World Bank basically. And the World Bank basically most of gives the money to the cities and the countries basically. So basically they, by default it's their plan, because each and everything's whatever country going to do, that is going to directly going to affect to the World Bank. So basically it's like that. Now the city's creation has started, the city has created, and then basically the after creation of city, basically the requirement was also collected, that due to this reason basically we are creating the city for this processing, to improve this processing the cities is getting created. So like this basically city got created, the city integrated to the 1,000 city, sorry, text box equal to 1,000 cities, and in 1,000 city one more city got added. So like this basically each and everything nowadays basically. So here basically what was the main thing? The user stories basically, you can say. The user story, before the basically the city gets created, it gets advertising with the help of the Bollywood groups. It gets user stories from the Bollywood group, Hollywood group. And if a city creation is within India, then mostly it's Bollywood group. If it's in outside India, then basically Hollywood groups do the, it creates the user story. So basically the text box creation is the main thing. But in text box creation, which process is going to happen? So that basically the process, the each and everything are basically displayed in the Bollywood format. So basically whatever things basically which get processed basically, that basically you can't see. So whatever things are getting processed, that has to be display also. That has to be in the view format also. So the Bollywood groups create serials of this particular new city creation. Bollywood groups then creates the movies also basically on the base of serials. So basically whatever things are going to generate from that city, whatever business is going to be generated, going to generate from the city, that is basically pre-advertising is already done basically. So advertising is already done, the movies are already created. So basically, if I say that in this world, whatever cities has created, that basically for that city creation, the business which is going to be generated from the cities, that is already advertised, and already movie creation has happened, and already serial creation has happened. If I say the like this basically, then also it would be 100% correct. But previous day basically it was not like that. Just because previous day basically text box equal to 1,000 cities, basically nobody was knowing it also. When previously the computer was also does not exist. But nowadays it's basically software industries groups are also doing the investment of the money basically. So um, like this, basically, the text box creation equal to 1,000 cities. In this 1,000 cities, one more city got created, added, so that the performance can be increased of the text box creation. And the set of user stories are basically designed by the Bollywood groups and the Hollywood groups. And who says that this is the basically energy which is going to generate it from the cities basically. And according to this, basically, lots of things are going to create. So basically, this is 104th number part. In 105th number part, we are going to see a little bit more about the Bollywood industry, software industry, and the project PMP and the formula and the attributes and the balance sheets.